Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here. UFC 300 is this weekend. We've got your entire fight card breakdown. I mean, you already know by now the entire card is stacked. Don't go anywhere. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the 10-7 MMA. I'm DS, and that guy right there is Dino Bam Bam.
You pointed in the right direction, Dino, and I really love that. UFC 300. Hey, I'm like super excited. I'm super excited.
And if you notice, I would say as far as importance in my life, the Eclipse comes second to this massive fight card that we got this weekend. UFC 300, of course, is what we're talking about. The only thing that could possibly burn brighter than that goddamn stupid Eclipse. It was pretty cool, actually. Did you get a chance to see it?
No, I was working in my basement. I didn't even look outside.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of cool. It felt like there was like a little sepia tone to that whole John out there. You know what I mean?
I feel that.
Anyway, we are here, and goddamn it, it's finally time. My goodness, didn't think we'd ever get here. We're talking about UFC 300. We're talking about the reason that the rest of the UFC year so far has been fucking trash.
Yep.
But this is the payoff, right? This is the fucking payoff, and we're finally here. It's literally stacked top to bottom. Just looking forward just ever so slightly before I let you give them a little bit of what they should do and all that, Dino Bam Bam. We're starting off with a Figgy fight. We're starting off with a Figgy versus Garbrandt fight, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's absolutely nuts. That's two former champions. There's obviously I think 12 current or former champions on this card. This card's ridiculous. And a lot of people were complaining, Dino. A lot of fans were bitching and moaning about this card sucking. I think that's absolutely insane. To me, that's nuts because this card is too stacked for me. I'm already uncomfortable.
It's literally stacked to the point. I think sometimes people forget the UFC has to make fight cards according to budget too, right?
Yeah.
So we felt the lack of budget in the other cards where it was pulled from. Literally any one of these fights could be a sick main event for a fight night card.
100%.
Hence why we've been watching fucking Walter Walker and shit in co-main events. So anyway, Dino, give him the whole spiel, please, before we get right into this. I can't wait any longer.
All right, guys, I'm excited, so I want to move on too. Do us a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Ring the bell. Dino, sound of the bell.
Boop.
Guys, that's the sound of the bell. That's going to notify you when our videos drop. You should also follow us on Instagram at the107MMA. Tons of pictures with us and fighters. A lot of fighters on this card, Dino. Charles Oliveira, Aljamain Sterling. We just dropped an interview with Cody Brundage. That's on YouTube. So watch that after this. Link in the description.
You did a great job. By the way, how did I point the wrong way? I pointed this way. Oh, because you fucking switched it, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
You fucking switched. No, you switched it up. Well, I went this way.
You're gonna rewatch it later, and you're gonna see that I didn't switch it.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. But anyways, do all that stuff. Follow, like, subscribe. Algorithm boost it for us. Dino, let's just start, bro. Let's get it.
Boost that bitch. Let's get right fucking into it. Starting off the night, like I said, we've got Deiveson Figueiredo making his second fight in the UFC at bantamweight, and he's taking on former champion Cody No Love Garbrandt. Dino Bam Bam, take it away.
All right, man.
By the way, I just want to preface. Very little notes for this fight. I just want the people to know these are mostly coming from the heart here, and every single one of these fighters, top to bottom. So
right.
Anyway.
All right, guys. Hey, let's start with Deiveson Figueiredo versus Cody No Love. All right, Dino. Here's the thing. There was this whole narrative going around with Cody Garbrandt that he was done. We all know it, right? The chin was gone. He was done. This and that, and the other. All of a sudden, though, Cody No Love looking pretty good. 2 straight wins, a decision against Trevin Jones, and then he knocked out Brian Boom Keller. In those fights, Dino, I still found myself, even though he was looking better, just kind of holding my chest, holding my breath, nervous as hell for Cody Garbrandt. I don't know and I don't know if his chin can take those shots. And then the last 2 times, like I said, he did win, but he started shuffling and shit. He started feeling himself. He was showing a little bit of the old Cody Garbrandt, but I don't know if I buy it, man. I feel like at this point, the chin is probably done, but we have to factor in that he is bigger than Deiveson Figueiredo, who is up at 135. Figgy made his debut last time out. looked pretty good at 135. Dino, he is short, but he's always been a massive 125er. Two strikers here. I think both guys, I know Figgy still has the power. I feel like Cody No Love still has the power. I just got to side with Figgy, man. I am a little nervous, but I'm going Deiveson Figueiredo, and I'm going decision, but I think it'll be a back and forth slugfest to start off UFC 300.
Yeah, it's a really interesting fight, man. Yeah, if we look at the competition, though, even though Deiveson Figueiredo was fighting, up a weight class for the first time, he was fighting Rob Font, who is much, much better in his respective weight class, obviously, than Brian Boom Kelleher and Trevin Jones, right? So,
right.
There's something to be said. This thing's like a little fucking close. Back the fuck up. Yeah, there's something to be said about that to me. I mean, and I wasn't like super confident watching Cody either, So then to him now take a big step up, massive step up, fighting somebody like Deiveson Figueiredo, who has a lot of power in his hands, has some dangerous submissions. Cody might be the more well-rounded guy. And for sure, Cody Garbrandt's boxing is going to be better. Deiveson Figueiredo, it's just, for me, it's like the way that Cody Garbrandt can win this fight is with his boxing, getting in close. He's got super fast hands, incredibly fast hands, and he can land some good shots there. But then I feel like you have more power coming back. So the way that I see Cody potentially being able to win this fight or having the best chance to do so is like where it's most dangerous for him. I just don't buy the chin. I don't think that your chin just comes back like that. Deiveson Figueiredo has a lot of power. I'm going to go with second round knockout for Deiveson Figueiredo here, man.
All right. I want to throw in a couple things here, right? So I don't know why I clicked this fight. We're still here, guys. We are still on Figgy and Garbrandt. Okay, look. You got to look at when Figgy was fighting Moreno, right? And I know Cody Garbrandt's boxing is better than Deiveson Figueiredo's. Like, technically, it's smoother. It looks prettier. Is it better than Brandon Moreno's when Brandon Moreno was fighting Figgy? Is he better than a prime Brandon Moreno? I don't think so, man. He definitely has a little more power, a decent bit more power than Brandon Moreno did, but he's not as fast as Brandon Moreno. I don't think he's as sharp as Brandon Moreno at this point. And Figgy was still able to reach Brandon Moreno.
Man, he might be as fast. With the hands, he might be as fast, dude.
I mean, look, man, regardless of that, right? Figgy was dropped a couple times against Moreno, but he was never really in like too much danger. In that fourth fight, it got stopped for like the eye just being broken. I think he had a broken orbital. Look, man, I just don't know that he's going to be able to do enough damage to Figgy. And I know for a fact that Figgy will touch him a little bit. So, like you said, man, I worry about the chin for Cody Garbrandt, but good luck to both guys, both former champions. And shout out our boy, Captain Eric Albarracin. He's going to be in Figgy's corner.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Shout out Captain Eric. Man, huge fight. Huge, insane way to start the card, as I said. I mean, that's just absolutely fucking crazy. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next fight of the night. And the pace just never stops, right? So, of course, I'm talking about Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. I mean, massive fight. Massive fight. I'm having a hard time figuring out who I like here, man, because I expect Bobby Green to march forward. In my opinion, Bobby Green has the best chance to win this fight by going first and third, right? And that's kind of what he likes to do. He'll throw out the jab, and we know he showboats and shit. And then, Jim Miller, I expect Jim Miller to throw a shot, and Jim Miller, in my opinion, is going to have the power advantage for sure here. That late career power that he's found, that we've seen recently. My question is just, is he going to be able to land on Bobby Green? Bobby Green, I expect him to be much faster. I expect it to be a pretty solid speed advantage, hand speed advantage when it comes to the striking. But then the power is going Jim Miller's way, right? And then Bobby Green is a decent wrestler. Jim Miller obviously is great on the ground. I mean, if it goes to the ground, Jim Miller certainly has the advantage there. To be truthful with you, man, I don't really see a finish in this one. I think it's going to be a pretty close back and forth fight. Fuck, I got to go with Bobby Green, man. I got to go with Bobby Green. I know that Jim Miller won at UFC 100, won at UFC 200. I know he wants to win at UFC 300. Do you think he retires if he does win?
No.
I don't think so either, dude. I think he's just going to keep going either way. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Bobby Green, man. I think it's going to be close. I think Bobby Green is just going to land more shots. Obviously we know the age of Jim Miller, and as durable as he is, he's gotten a little bit less durable. I don't see him getting knocked out or anything like that, man. And certainly Bobby Green could get knocked out. I mean, we've seen it happen not that long ago. But something just tells me I just think Bobby's going to land more shots. I think he's going to do a pretty good job of staying out of any submissions, keeping it mostly on the feet, and just having more output. So I'm going to go Bobby Green by decision in this one.
All right, cool. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, Dino, this is I'm picking the underdog Jim Miller in this one. And I'll tell you a couple things. First of all, I have an underdog parlay that I'm smacking. This is not on it. This is absolutely not on it. This fight is too close for that. But I do want to say, man, the last time we saw Bobby Green, man, he was knocked unconscious and he took like 175,000 shots to the back of the head, right? That was against Jalin Turner. That was like the terrible stoppage where the ref just let him get his brains pounded in. I don't
think. I mean, Jim Miller is not Jalin Turner on the feet.
Obviously. No, and I'm not saying he is, man. I'm just concerned about the damage that Bobby Green took. I know Jim Miller is an old guy, but Bobby Green's not a spring chicken either, right? He's 37 years old, man. Taking that kind of damage at 37, like that's not a good look for me, man. So I gotta assume that he's not the same Bobby Green we saw a couple months back. I think it was in December when he got absolutely rocked by Jalin Turner. Like, I don't like that look, man. And like you said, Jim Miller won at UFC 100. Jim Miller won at UFC 200. Hey, it's UFC 300. We've known he's going to be on this card for like 5-6 years now. He's been planning accordingly. I feel like we're going to see one of the best versions of Jim Miller that we've seen in a while. And if that's the case, we've seen some damn impressive Jim Millers as of late, right? He's been on like a nice little run towards, this latter part of his career. So I'm just going to trust Jim Miller. Maybe it's the storyline. Maybe that's what's kind of convincing me that Bobby Green might be done. But I don't know, man. I'm worried about the chin. So I'm going Jim Miller. I'll go by decision. Another another banger decision to start the card.
Yeah, and I could absolutely see Bobby Green getting knocked out with a massive elbow, with a big shot, with a big punch. Actually, I do think that Jim Miller would be smart if he does throw some kicks because Bobby's going to try to stick and move, right? And he's going to try to stay out of range. So it's going to be interesting. For what it's worth, too, I want to see Jim Miller win. It's not. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big Bobby Green fan. I like Bobby Green, but I like Jim Miller a lot more. So, anyway, moving on. Third fight of the night. We've got our first women's fight, of course. I'm talking about Jessica Andrade, and she is taking on Marina Rodriguez. Dino Bam Bam, what do you think is going to happen here?
All right, Jessica Andrade, Marina Rodriguez, a -110 both ways here. And I kind of get it, right, Dino?
A true pick 'em.
Right. And if you would have done this fight a while back, just like a little bit ago, I think that Marina Rodriguez would be a sizable favorite. But then she went on to have a little bit of a tough run because at that time, Jessica Andrade was having a terrible time in her career. That was like the little downfall of Jessica Andrade, and it looked like she was done. And then all of a sudden, man, it looks like Marina Rodriguez starts struggling. She loses to Amanda Lemos, gets knocked out. She loses a decision of Verna Janjanova. And then, yes, she gets the finish, but it's over Michelle Waterson-Gomez, who at this point is like, what, 70? Something like that, right? And then Jessica Andrade. I'm just saying, she's been here for a while, man. And we got Jessica Andrade. She had lost 3 fights in a row, but then she beat the shit out of Mackenzie Dern. So it's like, we got to weigh that. How good is Mackenzie Dern, man? Look, it's a pick 'em, Dino. There's not too much to like really look into at this fight. It's whatever lady's able to impose her game plan, right? Impose her will, put that game plan to use. I'm going Jessica Andrade. She's my girl. You know what we do here. When it's too close to call, you got to go with your person. Jessica Andrade is a true my girl, a former champ. I'm going Jessica Andrade. I'll go by TKO round 2.
Are you dropping the alternate? Are you dropping the fighter photos for this one, or no? The alternate fighter photos. I know you got some good. I know you got some good Andrade ones on deck. Yeah, we have some alternate.
They're out there.
Anyway, man, listen. It's gonna be a striking battle for the most part. I do think it gets to the ground at some point. I don't know, man. Marina Rodriguez, I was a big time believer, but I know they both kind of fell off. They've had like a similar path recently, right? And It's just like, I don't know, man. I guess who has really looked better and who has still kind of looked more themselves in that time. And to me, it's still Jessica Andrade. It's a women's fight. If it's going to be mostly on the feet, I just got to go with Jessica Andrade, man. I know that she hasn't done amazing in certain fights recently, but she still hits like a dude, got big time power. And I feel like her slowdown is not as pronounced even still. Also, Jessica Andrade, to me, this was a shock. 3 years younger.
4. She's 32. Marina Rodriguez 36. That's crazy.
Thank you. 4 years younger. So she has more power. She's younger. I think she's got more fight in her in terms of like when she gets really down to the nitty gritty. I just got to go with Jessica Andrade. I'm going to say by a close decision.
Okay, I feel that. And then one more thing to add in here, Dino, when Jessica Andrade was on that little run, and a lot of fighters, when they're on like a little downswing, there's something going on in their lives, right? She, after the fact, was like pretty adamant and like loud and vocal about the fact that she was going through like a sloppy divorce. She lost all her money. She was like, I'm broke. Her last fight, she literally said, I'm broke right now, which is absolutely
That'll take a toll on you. And then you got to just pop that pussy on OnlyFans.
Shout out Jessica Andrade's OnlyFans. That's where we're going with that.
You have anything else to add for that one?
No, man. It's a decent little fight, man. A decent little fight.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And speaking of decent little fights, I mean, nothing little about somebody like Jalin Turner. He's 6'3" at 155 pounds. The tarantula. He has taken on Renato Money Moicano, and what a fight, man. What a fight this is. It's an interesting clash of styles, which is kind of tweaking my ass out because this is not a matchup that I really ever thought about or, I don't know, predicted that would happen. Moicano, man, got it done last fight. Close fight, I guess, relatively. Jalin Turner beat the fuck out of Bobby Green, but, you know, not really a fair comparison there. For me, man, the biggest difference here is the striking, right? It's the height. It's all the things that Jalin Turner is good at, right? The striking. And then it's like Moicano is not like a world-class wrestler like most of these Brazilian guys that are really good at jiu-jitsu. How the fuck do you take down a 6'3" guy who's as strong and big as Jalin Turner, right? And it's not like he doesn't know shit on the ground. He's decently well-versed on the ground. And he's going to have more power. He's going to have way more reach. He's going to have, I think, all the things that go on the feet, like start top to bottom, the skill, everything pretty much goes in the way of Jalin Turner. 3.5-inch reach advantage, 4-inch height advantage, 6 years younger too. I mean, fuck. I just feel like it's a bad matchup for Moicano here. I have to go with Jalin Turner in a card filled with tough matchups to pick. In my opinion, this is one of the easier ones. I'm going Jalin Turner. I'm gonna go by decision, man. I think I was gonna say maybe like a late round knockout, but I think Moicano can survive. He's really good. I love the guy. He's so goddamn charismatic. Cuts the shit out of a promo. I'll tell you that. And we know how big that is for fighters. I love both of these guys, but Jalin Turner is an absolute my guy. And like you said, even if it's close, I got to go with him. And in this instance, I don't think it's particularly close, but all respect to Moicano.
All right, Dino, I'm in the same boat as you, man. I think this is one of the easier fights on the card to pick, and I'll tell you why. Look, Renato Moicano, man, he has a ceiling. He has a ceiling, and I feel like we've seen that. You go look at his Tapology, you go look at his record. When he gets to a certain point, he loses to those guys, right? And then the counter argument would be, is Jalin Turner one of those guys? And it's like, man, we may not think he is, but then you really start to look at it. Jalin Turner right now could be on like a 7-fight win streak if it wasn't for 2 razor close decisions, right?
Yep.
So in an alternate universe, Jalin Turner is fighting for the belt. You know what I'm saying? Like he's fighting for the belt because that Dan Hooker fight, we were there. That was absolutely insane. It was close as hell. It could have definitely went his way. And then the Mateusz Gamrot fight at 285, that could have went his way as well. And if he beats Dan Hooker, he probably doesn't fight Bobby Green. He's probably fighting Beneil Dariush, or he's fighting, one of those guys, Arman Tsarukyan, Charles.
Dude, and I give him a pretty good chance against Beneil. I think it's a bad matchup for Beneil.
I think it's a terrible matchup for Beneil Dariush. So look, man, Jalin Turner, like you said, even if it gets to the ground, he's good, man. He's long-bodied. He's definitely tough to submit. He has some submissions of his own. I just think the power is going to be too much. We've seen Moicano get clipped, and I think that's what's going to happen here, man. He's going to have to take risks to get where he wants in this fight, and Jalin Turner's long enough to make him pay for that pause. And then, I just think he knocks him out. I'm going knockout second round, probably like a knee. I'm feeling a knee. Moicano coming in and just getting caught by one of those.
Dude, I was going to say literally the same. I was going to say like mid-second round knockout too, but I don't know. I feel like unless Moicano is like really rocked, Jalen Turner's a smart fighter, man. He's not just gonna go for it. You know, he's gonna want to win this fight. He knows he's close to a title shot, relatively speaking. You know what I mean? He's at the top of that division. So, man, fucking, that's a nervous one for me. By the way, check on Dino Bam Bam, everybody. Come to the comments or something. This card is filled with guys that this dude fucking loves. And if his shirt doesn't give anything away, I mean, there's some, it's literally all his favorite fighters are on this card. So somebody check on him if things start going south for him. Charles,
don't check on me at that point. I just want to be alone. You know how I am. I just want to be left
Jiri, you know what I mean?
Anything,
like you gotta check
piss me off. It's gonna piss me off, so don't do it.
You're literally impossible to talk when you get fucking pissed off. Impossible. Your drinking is literally correlated exactly with how your fighters that you fighters that you like at a level of like a 7.5 to 10. Your drinking, your alcohol consumption is literally directly linked to that.
And then just like the way I feel, right? And if we get to like those 8, 9, 10 guys, like that level of, like I fuck with them, that level of my boy.
Oh, one of those. Hey, you throw one of those guys, it's over. Your night is fucking ruined.
Let's not do it. We just need a clean sweep. Clean sweep.
Oh my God. I don't think that's ever happened to you in your life. I don't think that's ever happened to you. And
I have a birthday party afterwards. I just know I'm going to be depressed for somebody. So let's just move on to you. I don't want to think about it.
Let's do it. All right, man. Moving on to the next fight of the night. And this is where you can kind of take a breath a little bit. You were telling me earlier. You don't truly have I'm sure you probably want Diego Lopes to win here. Talking about Sodiq Yusuff versus Diego Lopes at 145. It's a great fight. Not taking anything away from it. But you personally aren't tied like to devastatingly to a guy here, right? Diego Lopes is not like an 8 guy that you love.
Right. Definitely not an 8 guy. Yeah, I mean, I like Diego Lopes. Who doesn't, right? He's one of those guys. I know you love Diego Lopes. He's one of those guys that's come into the UFC.
He's a my guy. He's a hard my guy.
Yeah, I mean, and he's awesome. Look.
Pause.
He's hard my guy. Wow. Okay, but look, Diego Lopes came into the UFC and immediately made a name for himself, man. And then, like, the fans just really, really flocked to this guy. And I get it. He's an amazing fighter. He has, like, a little bit of a goofy look with the haircut. You don't know if he's Brazilian or Mexican, so he gets both of those markets tied into him. The American market seems to love the guy. He definitely has some star potential. And me and you were talking a little bit pre-show. That's the reason this fight's happening, right? It's for Diego Lopes. We needed him on the card, and we needed him to have a matchup that is somewhat winnable. We couldn't just give him like a super high-level guy that, he would probably lose to. We need a fight that he probably wins. On the other side, he's fighting Sodiq Yusuff, man. Sodiq Yusuff, athletic as hell. Powerful as hell, not a layup for anybody in the division. He's strong, man. He's scary. The fight versus Edson Barbosa comes to mind, and that was an absolute war. He had Edson really badly hurt in the first round. He had him he almost damn near 10-7'd him in the first round.
Edson, shout out 10-7.
Like and subscribe. But he was beating the shit out of Edson Barbosa, man, and then he took an ass whooping for the next 4 rounds. That just shows you how tough and dangerous Sodiq Yusuff is. That 25 minutes shows you who he is as a fighter. Look, Diego Lopes is a specialist. He's got good stand-up game, but when it gets to the ground, you are absolutely screwed unless you are one of the world-class grapplers, like the elite of the elite. And Sodiq Yusuff is not that. Is he dangerous as hell on the feet? Yes. Can he clip Diego Lopes and make it an early night? Absolutely. I just got to side with Diego Lopes getting the sub, man. I feel like at some point in this fight, he gets it to the ground. And when he gets it to the ground, I don't know that Sodiq Yusuff is good enough to survive. So I'll go Diego Lopes late first round sub.
I hear that, brother. I hear that. Listen, man, this fight is pretty straightforward to me. All right. To me, this fight essentially comes down to if Diego Lopes can survive the first round, the onslaught, the athleticism, the power, the cardio while it lasts of Sodiq Yusuff, he's not going to have a good time, right? He's not going to have a good time. I absolutely expect Diego Lopes to eat some big shots in this fight. I see him getting rocked early in this fight. I see him getting rocked at some point, maybe a couple times in the first round. Did you say 10-7 for this one?
No, he got 10. Sodiq Yusuff damn near 10-7 to Edson Barboza in the first.
That's right.
And that's Edson Barboza. That's a world class striker.
Absolutely. I could see a 10-8 in the first round, to be honest. Like, Diego Lopes has dropped like twice, fucked up. But I think if he can survive that first round, man, I do think that the cardio of Sodiq Yusuff is going to start to go. The power is not going to be there as much. Diego Lopes has a lot of fucking heart, man, and he showed that. And the difference on the ground, my goodness, Diego Lopes is a big-time jiu-jitsu coach. He coaches like half the women's fighters in the fucking promotion on their jiu-jitsu. He is one of the premier jiu-jitsu guys. And not only that, he's so goddamn creative. He's not your standard, like, there's even levels to black belts, right? He's not your standard, like, rear naked choke guy. The guy he's live for a submission in any fucking position, right? So I do see this going to the ground at some point. His wrestling is not as bad as some of the other Brazilian jiu-jitsu specialists, too. He's got some decent striking. I think he can hold him off for the first round and land enough shots where, the fight isn't stopped or anything like that. He's got a lot of heart. And, yeah, to me, this is kind of like Bo Nickal light. It's Bo Nickal, like somebody with that. Somebody I like a lot more than Bo Nickal, I'll tell you that. But humble. He's got an interesting look. The UFC clearly wants him to win this. But it's kind of a no-lose. Sodiq Yusuff is obviously really good. I'm gonna go with Lopes, man. I'm gonna go with Lopes. I'm gonna say like a late second round submission in this one.
Yeah. I mean, look, if it gets to the ground, I have no doubt that he gets a submission, especially if he has top position. I feel like that's a no-brainer. So you're betting. What are you betting on this fight?
Oh man, I probably would. I guess I would probably, if I'm gonna bet finish, I would do a double chance. I would do like submission or decision.
Okay.
Yeah. I would not bet like I don't think there's any chance he gets a knockout. I mean, it's possible. It's possible, but I don't really see it.
Right.
What do you think he's live for that?
For Diego Lopes?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like on the ground, like, but it would have to be like, like gets him in a crucifix or like something like that. I don't think he just like drops him, clips him and drops him, but shit, who knows, bro? It's UFC 300. I feel like we're in for a wild ass night. So who knows?
You ain't never lied, brother. You ain't never lied. And speaking of a wild night, brother, now is where it gets real crazy. I'm talking about the 50-year-old Holly Holm. She's taking on Kayla Harrison. Is she going to make weight? That's like the biggest question to me here. The last time she fought, she was probably about 175 in the ring. You feel me? Now she's fighting at,
She's a big girl.
She is fucking, and I'm not talking fat, nothing like that. She is fucking jacked, brother. Like, I got a little something, you know what I mean? She about the same. She about the same, but like way leaner.
Yep.
Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. This is a big one, man. This is a big one. Is this me or you to start, by the way?
This is you, brother.
Yeah, listen. I'm very, very curious here what's going to happen. Like, my initial thought is it's got to be Kayla Harrison, right? I don't like Holly Holm is well-rounded, man. Like, she's like a boxer. She's a judo goddamn champion. She's well-rounded. I feel like people always think of her as a boxer. Don't you feel that way?
Yeah, 100%.
And her boxing is really goddamn good, but maybe it was the Ronda Rousey effect, right? Where, like, she just fucking boxed the shit out of her. And by the way, what a weird fucking tour Ronda Rousey's been on, huh?
Bizarre. Seeing all the social media stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, if Kayla Harrison, like, to me, the biggest question mark in this fight is that weight class drop, right? Like, that is a big. She fought at 155, I want to say last time, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that is fucking crazy, dude. Like, that's a huge drop in weight for me. So number one for me is, can she make this weight? And again, she's not a lady that has like a lot of fat to lose, dude. She is absolutely fucking jacked. She's for sure juicing, by the way. There's no doubt in my mind that she's juicing here. I mean, she like absolutely. But if Kayla Harrison is what she has been, and like if she's able to like exert the same amount of force and like be the fighter that she has been in the PFL, right? I think that this she can definitely beat a 42-year-old Holly Holm, right? I think she can hold her own on the feet, and even though Holly Holm is well-rounded, I think in the wrestling is where Kayla Harrison is really gonna shine. So
Yeah,
for
the
me,
judo and yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? And I know Holly Holm's well-rounded, but she's not that level of athlete overall, dude. She's shredded as fuck. Don't get me wrong. She's another lady that's shredded, but Holly Holm has never in her life been close to 160 fucking pounds. Kayla Harrison had to cut to 106, 155 pounds. That is fucking nuts. She's jacked. I gotta go with her. I think Holly Holm survives. I think it does go to decision. Kayla Harrison's a massive favorite here. I don't think it should be that big of a favorite, quite frankly. Holly Holm is. Let's get real, man. Especially with the women, the UFC is a different beast, right? So, we saw MVP recently do his thing, but this is, in my opinion, Kevin Holland is not level with what Holly Holm is for the women, right? Holly Holm is a former champion. Yeah, I got to go with Kayla Harrison, man. This is a tough one for me to call. I think it should be way closer on the odds.
Okay, so to me, Dino, the odds are the way they are for a couple of things, right? If Kayla Harrison had not lost to Larissa Pacheco 2 fights ago, this would be more, like closer to the Cody Brundage Bo Nickal odds, right? This would be Kayla Harrison minus 1,000. To be honest with you, if she was still undefeated and she didn't lose that fight, that's what it would be. Holly Holm, she's clearly not at her peak anymore. She's clearly on the downslide. Look, I'm not impressed with Kayla Harrison. She got her ass beat by Larissa Pacheco. And then last time out was at Aspen Ladd. She fought Aspen Ladd, and it was like, she didn't look like anything in that fight. And Aspen Ladd,
yeah, I agree. And Aspen Ladd fucking sucks.
Aspen Ladd's a UFC reject, right? So, like, I don't love the odds, but I don't see any way that Holly Holm wins this fight, to be honest with you. She's not going to rock Kayla Harrison. She's not going to knock her out. The only way she would knock her out is, like, catching her with, like, what she caught Ronda with, right? And that sounds stupid and, like, cliche, but it's like, you got to catch her with, like, a head kick or something massive like that. She's not knocking her out with the hands. I think Kayla Harrison gets this fight to the ground. She's going to be way bigger. She's going to be way heavier. She's going to be on top of Holly Holm, and then she's going to get herself a sub to some sort of joint manipulation, right? Some kind of lock, like an arm bar, a Kimura, a key lock, something like that. So I'm going Kayla Harrison. I'll take her by sub late first round. I feel like she just gets this fight to the ground immediately, weighs down on Holly Holm, and then just gets that sub. And it's going to be boring. It's going to be annoying for me because I don't like Kayla Harrison, to be honest with you. She has been rubbing me the wrong way.
Either, man. I just think, a 42-year-old woman versus somebody who's that fucking jacked, like, and listen, we've seen fighters drop less weight and be way less effective with a way smaller weight class drop.
Right.
So she's basically dropping 2 whole weight classes as a woman and not being like this guy, but you have to like hormones and shit too, dude. Like, women are a lot more sensitive to that stuff too. Like, you can fuck up your hormones, like just drastically cutting weight like that. Let's be real. She's not sitting here losing 30 pounds. She's not going to do that. She's cutting weight bad.
Yeah. Right. She's going to cut heavy weight here. But, with her being a former Olympian and just kind of being in this world, and you said you think she's juicing, she probably is. I guarantee you Kayla Harrison has the best nutritionists on the planet right now with her, helping her through this weight loss and weight cut. And I bet you she's going to replenish, man, and she's going to look so big in that cage on Saturday. She's going to look huge compared to Holly Holm. Not in terms of height, but just in terms of, like, thickness and just, like, she's a sturdy-ass girl, for the lack of a better term. She's just thick and sturdy. I think once she gets her down, there's no way Holly Holm does anything about it. But I am down to see her suffer on the scale a little bit. I'll take some solace in that.
For sure. Moving on to the next fight. And now this is where Dino starts clenching his butt cheeks again. I'm talking about Calvin Kattar. He's taking on Aljamain Sterling, who's moving up to 145. It's his first fight there in the UFC. One of the most dominant champions, or I mean, not maybe dominant, but one of the winningest champions, in recent memory, and somebody who we both do agree, at least, that is criminally underrated. What do you think about this one, man?
Yeah, Dino, I'm going to be honest with you, man. This is one of the toughest fights on the card for me to call, man. And the odds obviously say that as well. They agree with me, but damn, it's scary and it's tough. And I'll tell you why. What does Aljamain Sterling do, man? He wrestles. He's a wrestler. He's the human backpack. He wants to get you down, take your back. Calvin Kattar has the best takedown defense in the division's history. Calvin Kattar is a very, very difficult guy to take down. And I think if Aljo stays on the feet with Calvin Kattar, he's in a world of trouble, man. This is not. I mean, Calvin Kattar, you got to assume has similar amounts of knockout power to Sean O'Malley, right? He's a bigger dude. He's
Man,
yeah.
yeah.
Look, man,
I
I'm
think
worried.
Sean pound for pound does have more, but
Yeah, I
and the
agree with
way
you.
that they punch is so different. Sean is a sniper, right? Sean will sit
Very
there
whippy. Yeah,
and he'll scope you out, and then he'll fucking throw a 1-2 like down the goddamn pipe and whip that bitch exactly like you said.
Yeah.
Calvin Kattar is more to me more of a volume striker, but fuck, he's got good power too, man, and he'll hurt you more with the 1-2s, but he's got the hooks too. Sean, I feel like Sean has better 1-2s. Calvin Kattar has better hooks,
right.
but the power overall is not far off, man. And like you said,
no, I agree with you. You're 100% right on that analysis, right? So Sean's the better boxer, straightforward, 1s and 2s. Like you said, Calvin Kattar's hooks are something special, man. Look, Calvin Kattar he's pretty much a specialist, right? He is a striker, man. Dino, here's what Aljo has to do, okay? And I'm gonna pick Aljamain Sterling. Let's not go too deep into this. I'm picking Aljamain Sterling, but what he has to do is he has to get Calvin Kattar pushed back towards the cage. And I don't know how the hell he's going to do that, but he's going to have to. And he's going to have to cage wrestle him because that's where he's going to have his best chance at taking Calvin Kattar down. And that's where he's going to have his best chance at holding him down. Let's not pretend like Aljamain Sterling isn't super athletic. Like he's not a freak wrestler. Like he's not a freak grappler. He is all those things. He's accomplished more than Calvin Kattar has in this sport. He's accomplished more than many people, or the most people in this sport. You know what I mean? So look, I think Aljo's going to have to force it to the cage. I don't know if he's going to do it, but I'm picking him. That's my analysis. I'm sticking with it. I'm scared as shit, though. I don't want to talk about
it. Yeah, listen, man, it's a tough one. For me, the weight, it's like a bad matchup for Aljo in a lot of ways.
Very bad matchup.
I feel like they could have done him a little bit they could have done him a little bit more of a favor with who they matched him up with after everything that he's done. But we know the UFC doesn't really care for him, at least that's the way it seems. You got a guy who is fucking going to be a lot bigger. I think the size difference can't be understated here. 5'11" Calvin Kattar. Aljo says 5'7". He might be 5'6", dude. 72-inch reach, 71-inch reach. The reach difference isn't massive, but when you take into consideration that Aljo's striking isn't that special, he didn't get knocked out cold by Sean O'Malley either. I don't know, man. I just don't love the matchup for him. He's moving up this later in your career, and I know a lot of fighters do it. I just feel like it's not going to end great for him. If he takes his back, he obviously it's over, right? Like that's what he wants to do. I just think it's a bad matchup in terms of, like you said, Calvin Kattar has some of the best, if you said the best, and it might be the best percentage-wise, right? It is.
Yeah.
The best takedown defense in the history of the weight class in the UFC. He's got power. He's got the boxing. He's going to be much bigger in there. Fuck, man. I think it's a tough matchup for Aljo. I really don't like the matchup for him. I'm sorry, Dino. I see like
I know.
I see like a mid-second round TKO in this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, Dino, and that's a big possibility, right? The only, and again, I'm playing this as a fan at this point, right? So the only thing is Aljo is super damn unorthodox on the feet. That's like what I'm grabbing onto. That's the only thing that I have to grab onto at this point, right? I just got to hope that unorthodox striking of Aljo gives Kattar enough trouble to where Aljo's able to get him to the fence and take him down. But yes, I don't love the matchup for him. Stylistically, it is terrible. If I was being realistic, I would be picking Calvin Kattar here, but I would pick him by decision, not by TKO. But yeah, I'm still riding with Sterling for the official pick of the show. And just because I won't pick against my guys. I won't do it. It's not happening today. I'm sorry.
Oh.
And you know what? On that note, I'm with you, man.
Fuck.
Very depressing. I'm already depressed. Like the guy lost already. That's how I feel.
I know. That's how you are, though. That's how you are as a human being. Oh, shit. Damn. Damn.
You just left for the Reposado,
Reposado, dude.
Hey.
Anyways, ladies and gents, we'll be back after a word from our sponsors. Smart.
Oh, okay.
Imagine. Just kidding, guys. If you haven't figured that out with our 350 subs. Also, what the fuck, guys? It's been a hot ass time. We got an interview. We dropped a couple videos. There's a little hype video. Fucking getting 2 subs. Come on.
Right. What
You
is
can do
that?
better. What's that about?
Are you disappointed in them,
Also,
Dino?
I am disappointed, but it's okay. Like, you guys, we all have our lives and stuff. But Indonesia, though, what the fuck? Where y'all at, bro? I feel like we were popping in Indonesia for a hot minute, and then what? All of a sudden, we're not. We're
And Burma. And Burma.
We were in Indonesia now.
Hey, we were big in Burma.
That's what I be telling the bitches at the club. Hey, by the way, like, you know, I'm just so you know, like, I'm big in Burma. She's like, isn't it Myanmar? I'm like,
I don't know.
Don't talk to me like that.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
We got to deal with this.
And now this is a back to fucking back for Dino Bam Bam. You know what it is too. Like, I'm gonna check in on you. Like, I'm gonna think about it here. This is where I'm gonna think about it. Depending on the first fight and this fight, the last fight go, I'm be like, man, I should hit this guy up. I know you're not gonna respond to me though. I know you're not gonna respond to me.
It depends.
I'm talking about a friend of the channel, Jiri Prochazka, who follows us on Instagram, by the way, and you guys don't. So what the fuck is that? There's at least 154 of you that follow us here, but don't on Instagram. What's that about? Anyway, He's taking on war criminal Aleksandar Rakic. I'm just kidding. He's not a war criminal. I take that back. Like, I don't know anything about him as a person, but it's Jiri. It's Aleksandar Rakic. This is a big fucking fight, man. And if this was like 2-3 years ago, I would be beyond excited for this fight. I've always wanted to see this fight. Light heavyweight is like the most aesthetic division. You feel me on that? Like, they're fucking big. They're like 6'3", 6'4". They're fucking shredded, right? It doesn't leave a lot of room for you to be fat. Like, there's not a lot of like 5'9" fat guys at 205. You know what I mean?
And shout out DC. He was able to do it as that 5'9" fat guy.
Oh God. But listen, man, Aleksandar Rakic is coming off a terrible, terrible knee blowout. It's been 23 months since he last fought in the UFC. He was like, I was really excited for him as a fighter. Like, I think I've told you this before. He was like one of the most terrifying fighters to me, right? He's fucking jacked. He's got that look in his eyes. He actually seems like a very nice guy, though. I was joking about the earlier thing, obviously. But yeah, my only question here is, how the fuck is Jiri an underdog? I know it's not a big underdog, but he's fighting a guy who, in his last few fights, man, it very much felt like as Rakic was climbing the rankings, he became more and more safe and just didn't go for it. And like, he is a violent, dangerous kickboxer, taking on another violent, dangerous kickboxer in Jiri. But since then, since this guy's been out, and Jiri had his own injury too, obviously. But I mean, Jiri has fought Poatan, right? Like, that is huge in its own. And was it an early stoppage? Whatever. We can all talk about that. To me, I can't possibly pick somebody who is very much a decision fighter when I've seen what Jiri has been able to do. And it's a decision fighter who's been apprehensive recently, now coming off a 23-month layoff due to injury. And he's taken on Jiri Prochazka, who's one of the funnest fighters. And sometimes maybe to a detriment goes for it, right? Even look at his Glover fight. He took shots that he didn't need to take. He was already winning that fight. And it went back and forth. And it's like, is this guy fucking stupid? No, this guy just likes to fucking battle, dude. He's a goddamn warrior. He embodies the warrior spirit. To me, I gotta go with him, man. I'm gonna say by decision, but I think it's not all that close, quite frankly. I think Rakic is gonna have decent output in the first and then kind of start slowing down, whereas Jiri is just gonna constantly keep going. He's gonna have a little bit of a feeling out process in the first round, I think, too. A lot of power between these two guys. Two dangerous strikers, right? But I don't see this fight going anywhere near the ground at any point. I think it's going to be a stand-up technical fucking battle. I just trust Jiri way more. If it was a fully healthy Rakic, for the record, I would still pick Jiri, but it would be a lot closer.
Cool. Look, we can't, like, the injury that Rakic had, man, it was bad. It was really bad. It's been a long damn time since we've seen him in the cage. Like, that's a tough thing to recover from, man. I know you're somebody who's had your knees hella injured, and it's not one of the
big time.
Yeah, and the first
sometimes by the very person that I do this show with. So
facts. So look, man, I got to go with Jiri as well. Jiri, like you said, he's never going to stop going for it. Okay, Aleksandar Rakic after the Jimmy Manawa head kick, he lost the decision after that. And I feel like since that point, when he lost to Volkan Oezdemir, yes, he's been winning his fights, but he has been a decision guy. He has been a little apprehensive. He has been a little scared to go for it because he wants to win so damn bad. But I think it's one of those like wanting to win in the way that a lot of the undefeated fighters want to win, right? Where it's like win by like it all sounds shitty until you understand what I'm saying. It's like win by any means necessary. Yes, absolutely. But it's not, you can never put yourself in harm's way. I don't know that he was doing that against Jan Blachowicz. He looked dangerous in that fight. He looked fast. I think he was winning the fight until that point, but then the injury happened. So interested to see what Aleksandar Rakic looks like. I mean, is he going to be going for it? Is he going to be safe? We know that you're.
I just, there's no way, bro. Coming off a fucking bad injury, dude. I just don't see that at all. You know.
Yeah,
Dino, it's crazy because like they're two guys who are pretty similar in terms of actual fighting style, but so different in terms of mentality and how they go about executing their game plan. At least in their last 3-4 fights, right? I mean, it's not even close.
I mean, 100%. Jiri, since he's joined the UFC, has been nothing but an all-gas fighter. Even when he's hurt, he's going for shit. Like you said, in the Glover fight, he constantly threw himself in terrible situations just because that's the way the guy wants to fight. And it's not just the way he wants to fight in the UFC. He's 29-4-1 in his career. Of his 29 wins, he's been to decision one time. He won one decision.
That's insane.
He's only gone the distance one time in his entire career, win or loss. So I don't see how this goes to decision. I know it's a 3-round fight. I know that Jiri's been fighting some 5-rounders and Rakic has been on the sidelines for a while. I think it's a finish either way. I have to side with my guy in this one. I think Jiri was beating Alex Pereira. I think he was beating Alex Pereira until he got caught. He almost had Alex Pereira out of there, and it looked like that was going to be Jiri's finishing sequence. But anyways, man, I'm going Jiri by knockout. This is a fight that's been years in the making. The guys don't like each other very much. They're from neighboring countries. There's definitely bad blood in this one. But yeah, Jiri, I'm going second round, violent ass knockout, dude.
Yeah, I just think Rakic, I still give him the benefit of the doubt. He's just tough, man. He's a tough ass guy, you know. We'll see what happens, though. I am absolutely rooting for Jiri here, though.
Get it.
Moving on. And now, ladies and gents, we are at the main card, finally. So all that shit that we just talked about is the goddamn prelims. That's just fucking nuts, dude.
How crazy.
That is so fucking... I think that's the first 10-7 sneeze that's ever happened.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyway, main card opener, Bo Nickal versus friend of the channel and somebody where you can watch his interview with us. Well, with Dino Bam Bam. He did a great job with it too. I'm sure you'll post the interview in the link for this video too, down below. I'm talking about Bo Nickal versus our boy Cody Brundage. What do you think about this one?
All right, man. So undefeated Bo Nickal versus Cody Brundage, right? I mean, first and foremost, we just got to look at the odds. Every time Bo Nickal fights Dino, we got to break this down. Minus 2,500. These are not UFC odds. You never see this in the promotion. You don't see anywhere near this. Like minus 1,000 is one of those things that like never happens in the UFC.
And certainly not on the main card of like
a massive pay-per-view, right? So we've got Bo Nickal. It's only him, really. It's only him. But minus 2,500, he's taking on Cody Brundage. Bo Nickal is a phenomenal wrestler, Dino. He showed last time out that he has stupid power. He has a couple knockouts in his five career fights. The dude is athletic as hell. You're not a multiple-time NCAA D1 wrestling champion if you're not like a freak athlete. So we got to start there. Bo Nickal deserves respect. But the thing is, Dino, we've never seen him in the dogfight. Now, is Cody Brundage the guy to take him to that dogfight? I don't know. That's yet to be seen. The odds makers don't seem to think so. I don't necessarily think so either, man. I know we interviewed Cody Brundage. I guess I'm doubting him. But look, every time Bo Nickal fights, I'm sprinkling on the other guy just because there's money to be made there. I feel like one day we might have the Khamzat Chimaev effect with Bo Nickal, where he gets tested and somebody gets him into that second or third round, and we get to see the cardio. What does that look like? What does he look like when he takes a punch? Because I've never seen him take a flush punch. You know? So look, I'm going
at least from like somebody substantial.
Right, exactly. I feel like Bo Nickal's going to get the takedown on Cody Brundage early, get the sub, but I'm rooting for Cody, man. I'm rooting for Cody.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree with you, dude. I'm also rooting for Cody. I hope he gets the shit done. Um, I think the power and the athleticism on the side of Bo Nickal. Um, Cody Brundage, we've seen him throughout his career. I mean, what has he been? He's been more than anything a wrestler, right? To
Yeah.
me, um, if you saw the interview, that that's something that he like really takes pride in is his wrestling, And it's like, not to be this guy, but I'm sure guys like Karl Malone took pride in their game, and then sometimes you just have Michael Jordan in your way. And I'm not saying Bo Nickal is Michael Jordan, but when it comes to the goddamn wrestling, he is. So I just think it's going to be tough, man. And am I a Bo Nickal fan? Not really. I'm really not. I think he's a little too cocky and all this stuff, and I think it's easy to be cocky when the UFC is booking you the way that they are, right? They're not throwing him into the goddamn fire like Diego Lopes, like he's making his debut against Movsar Evloev, right?
Right.
So, we talked about Diego. That's somebody that is another up-and-coming guy. But look at the difference in booking, right? And Diego Lopes had some close fights that he's won, and I respect the shit out of that. Bo Nickal has dominated all his fights, so it's like, well, why aren't we boosting him more, right? They're still trying to build the hype. Clearly, that goes. This is not something difficult to figure out. He's only 5-0. He's shown some hands now. The wrestling is unbelievable. Cody Brundage is, I like the guy. I love the interview. It's just he's been too inconsistent, and he has not shown me something in his career where. And all respect to him, but he's not showing me something in his career where to me, it's shown flashes to be the one to beat Bo Nickal. I'm going to go Bo Nickal by late first round sub.
Okay. I feel that. And look, Dino, I just want to say, though, Cody Brundage, last time out, for what it's worth, he had that slam knockout. If this guy
he looked great last time out.
But that's
the thing, man. He's been inconsistent in his career,
Of course. And that's been his thing. And he says that in the interview. That is also, that's linked below. He said that in his interview, man. He's like, look, that's the thing. That's why people doubt me, right? Like, I've never been the consistent guy. You've never seen the best version of me. He's saying all the right things. I feel like his mind's in the right place. Again, I don't know if it's enough, but Dino, if this guy slam knockouts Bo Nickal to open up the main card of UFC 300, could you imagine the fucking scenes? Could you imagine the fucking scenes?
There's no way, dude.
I'm just saying, hey, look, I'm sprinkling. I told him I'm sprinkling Brundage by knockout. And if that's the case, dinner's on me,
For who? For me?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'll order you a za.
You've never done that for me in your entire life. You're not going to start now.
I'll get you a za.
Especially, you're not going to be thinking about me on a night like that. I'll tell you that for fucking sure. Anyway, man, let's move on to the next fight. It's the second fight of the main card, and here we are. Here we are. I almost want to let you take this one first, to be honest. I know I'm up, but huh?
I said, don't do it. Just go. Just go with the flow.
Like you got to. You got to. It's your boy Charles Oliveira. He's taking on Arman Tsarukyan.
You want me to go?
Yeah, I think I do, man.
All right. Hey, look. Charles Oliveira, Arman Tsarukyan. I already spoiled it by wearing the t-shirt. I already spoiled it by saying what I said earlier. I'm picking my boys. So there's no surprise here. I am taking Charles Oliveira. But I will tell you why, Dino. I'll go ahead and tell you why. Look.
But how much of that is your emotions and how much do you really believe that?
No, I mean, look, I totally believe it, and I'm getting to it. So look, Charles Oliveira, what's Arman Tsarukyan good at? He's really damn good at the wrestling and damn good at the grappling. And he's got some sub skills. And he's also like a little explosive guy, but really he is that wrestler grappler. When we've seen him, like guys like Mateusz Gamrot. Mateusz Gamrot gave him a lot of trouble, man. Islam Makhachev, I know it's Islam Makhachev, but Islam gave him some trouble. That was years ago. Like he struggles with really good grapplers. And then on the feet, Dino, we've also seen him rock. I don't know that he has the most stable chin in the division. Yes, the kid's on fire. Yes, he looks every bit like the only hope to beat Islam Makhachev at this point in the division, right? That's kind of what it looks like. But I just don't think he's better than Charles Oliveira, man. The run that Charles Oliveira was on, the Olive era, was something special. It was something absolutely crazy. And yes, he lost to Islam Makhachev. But at at this point in time in 2022, 2023, 2024, who's not losing to Islam Makhachev, right? It took an unbelievable performance from Alexander Volkanovski. That was and that was just good enough for a razor close decision. That Islam won. You know, a lot of people say what you will about the decision and the robbery and whatnot, but it took a special performance from a GOAT of this sport to make Islam look human. So that's how good Islam Makhachev is, right? So I don't think that takes anything away from Charles Oliveira. What Charles Oliveira did to Beneil Dariush, yes, Arman Tsarukyan was able to do that, but at the same time, how much of that was Charles's doing? Does Beneil Dariush get knocked out like that if he hadn't fought Charles Oliveira? If he was still on that winning streak and hadn't taken the damage? Look, man, it is a scary fight. Obviously, Arman Tsarukyan very, very live for a knockout here. But I have to trust Charles Oliveira. He's better on the ground. To me, he's better on the feet. The only thing that Arman Tsarukyan, I think, is better than Charles Oliveira at is pure power. But when you listen to guys like Gaethje, he would tell you otherwise. He would say Charles Oliveira is the hardest he's ever been hit in his life. So I'm taking Charles Oliveira, and Dino, I'm taking him by first round knockout.
I like it, man. I like it. Listen, obviously I said, I was talking to Michael Jordan. I said, Bo Nickal, this is to me literally like the modern day version of Karl Malone and the Jazz versus the Bulls, right? In the mid to late 90s. Arman is really good. And I just don't think this is an Ilia Topuria section or I don't think it's a situation. I don't think it's an Ilia Topuria situation. I really don't. Arman is not Ilia Topuria because he's not as well rounded. Let's be real, man. Arman has not fought the highest level of competition. This is a massive, massive step up. And let's not discount that for a second, right? In my opinion, Arman is a lot closer to Beneil than he is to Islam. So for me, Charles Oliveira, sure, Arman has some power. He's not the most technical striker. I think on the feet, Charles has a big advantage, quite frankly. I think it's understated in how big of an advantage technically Charles has on the feet. Don't forget, Gaethje was the one who's obviously we're going to cover soon. He was the one that said nobody hit him harder than Charles Oliveira. Does Charles get rocked? Yeah, he gets rocked every fucking fight except for the Beneil fight. He absolutely dominated that fight start to finish. But yes, he gets rocked. I don't know that the chin is like sus, dude. He like, oh, Dustin Poirier rocked you? Like Gaethje rocked you? Like, dude, those are like, oh, Michael Chandler rocked you? Like
Islam rocked you, right?
These are three fucking big punchers, dude. So I don't think Charles' chin is that bad, quite frankly. I really don't. And also, how many of those three guys knocked him out?
None.
Not a single one. So
yeah.
With the submissions, Charles, elite, obviously has the most submission finishes in the history of the company, right? I mean,
yeah,
he's got more ways to win. It's kind of surprising to me that how much of an underdog he is here. I think there is a bit of a Topuria effect in those odds, quite frankly. And it is a similar matchup, like not necessarily stylistically, but in terms of like who is fighting who. I kind of agree with you, man. I do see a knockout. I'm going to go Charles by second round TKO in this one. I just think that Arman's going to come out hot, and Arman, I think, is going to get humbled. By the end of the first round, he's going to get humbled. I think he will land some shots, but Charles will – I think the first round's going to be really close, maybe go Arman's way, and then Charles will start doing his thing in the second round, mixing in, just the different types of strikes. He's got a much wider array of strikes. I got to go with him, man. I think he finds a shot at some point, and I think I could also see him dropping him and getting a sub. I just don't think that's as likely. I'm going to go with the second round TKO.
All right, two things I need to add on this one. First of all, Arman Tsarukyan, you mentioned the level of competition. Yeah, it's not the greatest. Yes, he did just beat Beneil Dariush before, and a couple fights before that, impressively on his record. He has a loss against Mateusz Gamrot, which I think he won. Watching that fight, I think he won that. I think it was a bad decision, but regardless, it looks like Mateusz Gamrot's not really the guy we thought he was either, right? So in retrospect, how impressive is that? And then, that fight against Joaquim Silva, he ended up getting the finish late in the third round, but he was out on his feet in the first in that round. And that's Joaquim Silva, and yes, he's a good fighter. I think he's an underrated fighter, but he's not Charles Oliveira, man. So look, I feel like all roads will eventually lead to a Charles Oliveira Islam Makhachev fight again at some point. I don't know if it's the next one or the one after that, but I just feel like that's what's happening. I also feel like maybe Arman ends up fighting Islam at some point, right? I don't know. Who knows? But look, I'm taking
sure they
Charles
will. If Arman wins this fight, I mean, for sure. But even if he loses, he's still so fucking young, man. I mean, yeah, there's no way he's not gonna get back there at some point.
Yeah, let's get it, man. I'm super excited for this one. I'm nervous for this one, but I'm down. Also, Dino, one more thing. Charles Oliveira, an underdog. Jiri Prochazka, an underdog. You mentioned how Jiri fights, always going for the finish. Charles Oliveira is a guy very similar to Jiri, where he's not going out there to get a decision. If he's gonna fight, like he's going for the finish. He's always going forward, and that's what he's known for. He's not
Absolutely.
a guy that, so he's gonna put the pressure on Arman Tsarukyan. How is Arman Tsarukyan gonna handle it? I'm really, really interested.
Yeah, this is, as far as like just like wanting to see the fight and how it just plays out. This is like one of the ones this is probably one. This and the main. This and really the rest of the card is like, whereas like, oh shit, I'm not really sure what's gonna happen, but I'm very excited to see how it's gonna go down.
All right, let's get it. Do Bronx, baby. By the way, I put up a picture with Charles Oliveira on Instagram. You guys should go follow us at V107MMA.
There you go. Yes, thank you for that. Let's move on. Next fight, and now we get into the title fights. Of course, I'm talking about Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. It's the BMF title. Do we love the BMF title? I know me and you agree on this. We don't fuck with it. But if there are two guys that are fitting to fight for it, it is Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway. I'll take this one first. Man, tough fight. Tough one. I love both of these guys. I really love Max Holloway. I love Gaethje. This fight is a pretty straightforward breakdown, right? We've got Max Holloway, first of all, who seems to have been building his weight up the right way. His neck looks thicker. He looks fuller overall. He clearly didn't just pound burgers and fucking donuts. He's taken his time. He's known for a while about this fight. He's taken his time to get his weight up there, and that I really, really like. To me, the closest comparison of Justin Gaethje's recent opponents that matches Max Holloway the most is Rafael Fiziev. And what happened in the first 2 rounds, basically, versus a fast volume striker. Now, Max Holloway doesn't kick as much as Rafael Fiziev, obviously, and that's like something very specific to him. But Max Holloway is still a better boxer. Max Holloway is the premier boxer. And, man, I still think he's going to retain most of that speed. I expect him to have a hand speed advantage. Max Holloway, this is basically a volume striker, an elite boxer, versus somebody who has a shit ton of power and does absolute fucking damage with every single shot that he lands. So, Max Holloway, never been finished. Like, he's not the type, like, you're not going to put him down easily. If there's anybody to do it, though, it is Justin Gaethje, right? Like, he was losing that Fiziev fight, and then literally, you just see, like, you can physically see it. It's almost like a goddamn video game. Every shot that he lands leaves a mark. Every shot that he lands creates a cut, right? So, do we trust the power of Gaethje more, or do we trust the volume striking of Holloway more? There's 0% chance this fight goes to the ground. 0. All right? Absolute fucking 0. It's a 5-rounder, right? It is a 5-rounder. Listen, man, I'm going to go with Max Holloway. I'm going with the underdog by decision here. I think he can kind of use that Fiziev game plan and just stick and move on Gaethje. Gaethje in big moments, don't forget, man, at times falters and fades away. And, you know, yes, he showed a lot of heart and came back and won some fights, and he knocked the fuck out of Dustin Poirier. And I respect all that. Justin Gaethje is a fucking legend, man. One of my favorite guys to fight. Any MMA fans, one of the favorite guys to watch, let's be honest. But I don't know. Something tells me Max Holloway is just going to do his thing, man. I respect how he did the weight class move up. I'm surprised he's that big of an underdog, quite frankly. I just think that he can out-volume Justin Gaethje, and Justin Gaethje will put on 5 rounds. We know he can do it, but I don't know that he can do it quite like Max Holloway can. is Max Holloway gonna go in the middle of the ring and be like, I don't think we see Max Holloway doing this fight, to be honest with you. But I do see him outpointing Gaethje overall in a very, very hard fought back and forth fight. I think it's gonna be like 3 rounds to 2. I just think Max Holloway takes the last 2 rounds for sure and secures the win in this one.
All right. I love that. So look, Dino, obviously, I want to say it just to say it, to put it out there. Justin Gaethje, the most exciting fighter in all of MMA. He's your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. Like, he's all the fans' favorite fighters. Nothing but respect for Justin Gaethje. On the other side, Max Holloway, a guy that is always down to scrap. Another one of the most exciting fighters in all of MMA. I love both of these dudes. It's going to be sad to see one of them lose. And it's going to be sad. I'm sad thinking about the prospect of like one of them being slumped, right? Look, when
I just don't see that. And if anybody will be slumped, it will be Holloway.
Right. So here's how I see this fight. When it first got announced, I was like, you motherfuckers, like, you know exactly what you're doing, fucking UFC. Like, fucking naughty, you know what you're doing. You don't want Max Holloway to be at 45 anymore on this win streak because you don't want him fucking fighting Ilia Topuria. That's what I thought off the rip, right?
And it's so annoying because I think that's a guy that actually does have a chance against him.
100%. And then I also thought to myself, oh, you motherfuckers, you're thinking if Max beats Gaethje, you could put him against Islam for a freebie win, right? Like, that's a possibility as well, man, that he was matched up with Khabib. Look, Dino, I thought Gaethje by knockout the entire way. And then all of a sudden, like a month ago, 3-4 weeks ago, I was sitting there and I was like, dude, Max Holloway is going to win this fucking fight. And I'll tell you why.
Really? 100%. I was convinced you were going to go with Gaethje, dude.
And I'll tell you why, man. It has something to do with what you said, and then there's a couple other things, but Gaethje folds in these moments, man. I know last time out, it was the same thing, right? It was the BMF title. He was fighting Dustin Poirier, who's another badass fighter, who's a guy that he's lost to. So it was like, I get that there was pressure there, but he landed the head kick, man. Like, Justin Gaethje's live against anyone. We were just talking about Islam Makhachev. Justin Gaethje has just as good a chance as all the top guys at beating Islam, if not maybe better, because he could catch him. Yeah. He's a very powerful, wild dude. He's never willing to die. But, man, Max Holloway is so damn sharp, Dino. And we've seen him fight guys like Yair Rodriguez. We've seen him fight guys like Dustin Poirier. We've seen him fight Jose Aldo. We've seen him fight Volk for 7,000 rounds. The guy does not go down. He cannot be dropped. Knock on wood, but the chin is absolute granite, right? And I just think if we find ourselves in the second or third round and Max is doing his thing a little bit where he's touching Gaethje up, I don't think Justin Gaethje has the best chin in the world. We've seen Justin Gaethje knocked out. We've seen Justin Gaethje rocked and out on his feet.
Don't tell me you're going knockout.
Every single fight, Dino. We've seen Gaethje. You know the little chicken legs that Gaethje does?
Yeah.
You know exactly. Like, if you shadowed Justin Gaethje being rocked on his feet, you would know exactly who it is. I just think we get to that third round, Dino, and more likely the fourth, and we get a chicken leg moment from Justin Gaethje, and Max piles it on. I'm going Max Holloway round 4 TKO. That's what I'm doing.
Whoa.
That's what I'm doing. And unfortunately for all of us fans, that'll be the end of Justin Gaethje. He'll retire in cage. That's the bold prediction.
Whoa.
That's the bold prediction.
Whoa, that's a hot take, but I mean, he said as much before, man.
Yeah.
So, fuck. Now you got me absolutely fucking tweaking. So, is there anything else on that fight?
BMF, baby. That's a fucking wild fight. Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway's crazy. Like, that's fucking nuts.
Yeah, that was like, was that like the first fight they announced for this card?
I think it was the first like title fight. I think it was the first,
it was the first title fight, so to speak, using that term pretty loosely there, though.
Sure.
Anyway, moving on to the next fight, and it is the co-main event and our last women's fight for the night. I'm talking about Zhang Weili, the champ, the UFC women's strawweight champ. She is taking on Xiaonan. Dino, Bam, what do you think is going to happen here, brother?
All right, man. Weili. Dino, what number title defense would this be for Weili? This like
4?
something like that, right? Well, she
Yeah.
beat Esparza to get the belt. She beat Lemos. She defended
3?
against Joanna. I think it would be her third successful if she gets it. Regardless, man, Weili, an absolute my girl. I love Zhang Weili. Also another, I don't know if Eric's cornering her, but he has been in her training camp before, Captain Eric. So shout out him. That'd be cool to see him in another title fight. But look, Dino, two Chinese women. That's unbelievable, right? Like, this is the first time in UFC history where two Chinese fighters are fighting for a world title. We have a Chinese champion and a Chinese challenger. Huge for China MMA, huge for Chinese women's MMA and Asian women's MMA in general. So that's pretty cool, man. Yan Xiaonan right now, Dino, she's on what's her winning streak? Let's see. She's on a 2-fight winning streak. It's the Mackenzie Dern fight and the Jessica Andrade fight. She looked great against Jessica Andrade, man. She looked absolutely phenomenal. She was beating the dog shit out of her.
Beat the fuck out of her, dude.
Beat the dog shit out of Jessica Andrade. Against Mackenzie Dern, she looked okay. Mackenzie Dern's a weird one, man. Like, sometimes some fighters look phenomenal against her. Sometimes they look just like whatever. But, Dino, what sticks out to me is the loss to Carla Esparza, man. I know MMA math don't be mathin', and you already know that I don't love Carla Esparza. But Carla Esparza was able to take down Yan Xiaonan and absolutely dominate her on the ground. Dino, and then on the other, and Carla Esparza is supposed to be like this really high-level grappler, right? She's supposed to be this unbelievable, wrestler, jiu-jitsu practitioner, whatever. Zhang Weili is a significantly better grappler than Carla Esparza.
That's what it is.
That's what it is, right? So we saw that. We saw what Weili was able to do to Carla Esparza. To me, Dino, this is a no-brainer. I don't think Yan Xiaonan finishes Weili on the feet, and I doubt even if she gets her in a bad position on the ground that she's able to finish Weili. And if we go the distance, I see Weili winning 4 rounds. So to me, there's really no way of Yan Xiaonan winning this fight. I'm going Weili. I'm going dominant victory for Weili. 4th round, ground and pound, after beating the shit out of her with 2 10-8 rounds, something like that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, man. I think if there is an advantage for Yan Xiaonan, it's in the pure striking. I just don't think, even if it is an advantage, it's not like a pure advantage because of the heart and the goddamn, like, just the athleticism, the go for itness. Like, she just goes for it, dude. Weili, that is. I don't see any way that Yan could win this. I really do like her. I think she's going to stay at the top of this division for a while. Who really wins here? It's China, right? But it's China. But yeah, listen, man. At some point, it's going to go to the ground, and Weili's going to fucking dominate on the ground. If Carla Esparza can hold you there and dominate you and do whatever she wants to do, Weili's going to fucking dominate you in a 5-rounder too. In a 3-rounder, I think Yan had a better chance. In a 5-rounder, there's no fucking chance.
Exactly.
I'm going to go Weili by, like, I think she's going to fuck her up for 5 rounds. Like, I don't think she could get the finish, and maybe she will. But, like, I just feel like she's just going to fuck her up. Maybe with, like, 2 10-8 rounds in there somewhere, dude.
Like I was saying, I really think it's going to look a lot like the Amanda Lemos fight, right? She didn't get the finish in that one, Dino, but she was just
exactly.
Yeah, she was just beating her from bell to bell. Right now, I'm being honest with you. The only woman in the world that I see at 115 today that has even a shot against Zhang Weili is Tatiana Suarez, man. So I want to see her come back, get healthy.
I don't even think so, but
maybe. I think eventually we get that fight. I don't see any of these chicks beating her, man, and I definitely don't see Yan Xiaonan beating her. We didn't do this thing. We didn't put their names at the bottom the whole damn time.
You didn't.
I know. I didn't. Sorry. I'll take them. But see, it's here now.
All right.
These ladies.
Well, let's move on to the goddamn main event of the evening. Dino, cheers.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. Give us a little sub, please. Yeah, this one is where I'm going to be nervous. I'll be nervous throughout just because it's like the big fight feel. But this is where I'm going to get real nervous. Jamahal Hill is a big time, my boy. Listen, man, I'm going to keep this pretty sweet and short. Alex Pereira, first of all, this fight is not going to the ground. This is going to be a goddamn bloody battle on the feet, in my opinion. I think Jamahal Hill has the better chin. I think the power is about equal. The reach, I thought Jamahal Hill had more reach. The reach is pretty much dead ass equal. Chama might have an inch on him. They're the same height. They're the same weight. They're only about 4 years apart. So when you take all that into consideration, right, and expecting it to be a striking match, this world-class kickboxer should be the victor, right? He should be the one that's better. This fight is made. If it's a stand-up fight and it's Jamahal Hill coming off a bad injury, he was pooping, whatever, it was an Achilles, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I'm more than anything, I'm glad to see Jamahal Hill back. There's a couple things, right? So if we expect it to take place on the feet, which I do, Alex is not as good fighting off the back foot, and it's not close. He does not like being pressured. He's not the same fighter when he's fighting off the back foot. Jamahal Hill has been in some fucking wars already, and he is the toughest motherfucker that you'll meet, that you'll see. Dude is the type to literally get his arm snapped instead of tapping. On paper, man, the world-class kickboxer absolutely should win this fight. He should be able to land some big leg kicks. The leg reach is actually a little bit more pronounced than the hand reach. He should be able to land some big fucking leg kicks and slow down Jamahal Hill and slow down the power of Jamahal Hill. Jamahal Hill's going to want to march forward, right? And it's that from that angle, it's a bad matchup too. Alex Pereira, the premier counter striker, counter puncher. His check left hook is the premier punch in the fucking game. So all those things in consideration, Jamahal Hill should lose this fight. I just don't think he will. I don't know what the fuck it is. And yes, he's a my boy. Yes, he's one of my favorite fighters in the game. I don't know exactly what it is, and I don't think it's like Sean O'Malley, right? Like I picked him to win that fight versus Aljo. I said second round knockout, early second round knockout. That's exactly what happened. I kind of feel that way, right? Where it's like, yes, I want this guy to win. He is my boy, but that's not why I'm picking him. I think it's the heart. And I also think Jamahal Hill has a better chin, man. I think Jamahal Hill is an underrated chin. We've seen Alex Pereira's chin tested. He's 4 years older. I know at these heavier weight classes, it doesn't mean as much. I got to go with Jamahal Hill, man. I think he eventually gets the knockout on Alex Pereira. I think it's going to be a brutal, brutal fight. I think Jamahal Hill's going to be gushing blood. I think Alex Pereira is going to be – I don't think we've ever seen his ass bleed, to be honest with you. But I think he's going to get fucked up too. I don't know if he bleeds, to be honest with you. But I do eventually see in the late third round, I see a late third round fucking KO for Jamahal Hill on the feet. I don't know what it is. I'm picturing it. I see it. That's all I can say about it.
All right, Dino. Look, man, I agree with you on a couple things here. Alex Pereira's chin, man, I've been on record saying it for a while. I don't think it's good. And because to me, the Izzy knockout looks like really suspicious, dude. Like, I'm not saying it was fake. I'm just saying, like, he got grazed. And I understand that shit happens in fights, and sometimes it feels a lot harder than it looks, but like, it didn't look that good. And then Jiri had him out on his feet pretty much right before Jiri got knocked out. Like, I've seen Alex Pereira rocked. And when it comes to the power, we're not really seeing Alex Pereira put people out cold anymore like we saw in kickboxing, like we saw early in his MMA career, early in his UFC career, the flying knee on Michailidis. He put Sean Strickland out cold, but he hasn't been doing that to the top guys in this division. The standing TKO against Izzy, the Jiri one, which was a little bit weird, kind of an early stoppage. Look, dude, Jamahal Hill, the only thing that worries me about him here is the leg. It's the leg injury, right? And Alex Pereira, really known for his leg kicks. That is a special weapon. It's one of his signature moves. You said the check left hook. I would say his leg kicks are the best in all of MMA. So sure. He's got two special moves, right? Again, though, I'm just with you, man. I agree with you. I think Jamahal Hill gets this done. I think I think in this game,
you're shooking my ass right now, bro.
Look, dude, this 205 musical chairs that we got going on right now, right? I just think Jamahal Hill matches up very well with Alex Pereira because Alex Pereira, I don't think, is going to do well in a dirty dogfight. And I think Jamahal Hill is the only fucking guy, besides Jiri, I guess, who lost that Poatan. He's the only fucking guy that's willing to take it to him and not be too scared of what's coming back. Is Jamahal Hill a defensive fighter? Yeah, sometimes he is. He's a smart fucking striker, dude. but I think he's going to go forward. I think he's going to fight force with force. I think he knows I'm on the main event of UFC 300 with the chance to not just become a star.
Also, he has a massive chip on his shoulder.
Huge chip on his shoulder. He thinks he's the champ right now, and he has every right to feel that way.
I was going to say, you can't deny that there's an argument to be made.
Dino, he has every right to feel that way. He was the champ, and he never lost the belt. I just think Jamahal Hill, with his mentality and the way he fights, he's on UFC 300 as the main event versus Alex Pereira, who's become damn near the biggest star in the promotion. You're going to have millions and millions of eyeballs on you. I know Jamahal Hill's going to go for it. He's a gambler, dude. He's going to roll the dice on himself. I think he's going to push forward and get the knockout. I'm going late round 2, but I agree with you. I think it's going to be an absolutely fucking brutal fight for the limited time that we get this one. So yeah, Jamahal Hill and new and again. And I'm hoping that we get a Jiri
You got me shook as fuck, bro. I did not at all see you fucking going this way.
Yeah, dude. That's the way I'm going. And I hope we get a Jiri victory against Rakic, because Jiri versus Jamahal Hill is fucking bananas.
Well, that's the next fight to be made. Absolutely. If they both win, that's the next fight. No questions asked.
Yep. So, hey, man.
My God, I'd love to see that. That needs to happen. That was supposed to happen.
I'm so excited. Dude, if it works out that way, that'd be unreal for me and you. I know Jamahal Hill, your favorite 205er currently. Jiri Prochazka, my favorite 205er.
He's top 3 favorite fighters for me.
Yeah, I mean, same here. So I'd love to see a huge my boy versus your boy.
Man, let's get it, bro. Guys, that's all we got for you. I know it was a little long-winded. We had some fun, though. Dino Bam, you did such a good job with the Cody Garbrandt interview. Or, I'm sorry, with the Cody Brundage interview. I got to say that again. Post that down below. Man, UFC 300, it's what we've all been waiting for. It's been a, whatever year without it. But, man, I'm fucking – this is the payoff. Like I said, this is a huge card. We're ready for it.
Yeah, and sorry if we were long-winded and, we kind of went off track. But this is 300, right? This is what it's all been building towards. So we apologize for that if that's the case. But if you're one of the few people that actually enjoyed this video, why don't you do us a favor? Click the thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let us know your predictions. I want to know who you're rooting for. What's going to make your night and what's going to fucking ruin your night. That's what I want to know. So do that. Dino, ring the bell. Tell them about the bell again. Guys, if you ring the bell, that's the sound it makes, okay? Next to the subscribe button. That bell is going to notify you when our videos drop, and you're going to want to be notified because we're dropping a bunch of fire-ass content. Also, if you're interested in following us some more, Instagram at the107MMA, photos with Charles Oliveira, photos with Aljamain Sterling, Calvin Cater, a bunch of the dudes on this card. And like I said, an interview with Cody Brundage.
And what's better than that?
Hey, guys being dudes.
Exactly.
Hey, UFC, that should be the caption. Remember they used to have captions for cards? UFC 300, guys being dudes.
Literally.
I'm for it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Dino, do you have anything else?
No, that's it, man.
All right. I'm lit. Guys, he is DS. I'm Dino Bam Bam. We're the 107 MMA. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.